John 14. Let not your hearts be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know.
It's about time, man, because I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to get the kingdom. I'm ready to live. I'm ready to breathe fresh. I'm ready to have beautiful, pure women, okay? Not no strawberry harlots on this side. I'm ready to have children, man, you can vibe with, okay? Be around brothers. Be around the Lord himself, okay? I'm ready to go and visit places in the galaxy that we didn't know exist. All right? I'm ready to walk on sandy beaches, man, and explore the ocean floors. I'm ready to fly, okay? I'm ready to eat real food. Okay, I'm ready to drive a chariot, man. All right, I'm ready to minister to the Lord and to be ministered to, man. Okay, I'm ready to worship Yahushua in its full entirety. Okay, I'm ready for it. We're ready, man. I'm ready to see angels and greet angels.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
People, Mars dies. How do they have the fuss and all this?
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same, in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption to it, the redemption of our body. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces, like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth.
Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shah. I started signing out. Focusing on this.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem, Rekakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful they got there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem, Rekakwadash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here, man. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, listeners, came back to the word and truth and in obedience, man. Through faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And what we're going to get into this morning news and prophecy, Babylon is falling, and we're going to touch a little bit on the N.W.O infrastructure, man, to get some updates on what's going on, dealing with the war. All right, and how we're watching our power, transition. Okay, because scriptures speak about the earth is translated. Matter of fact, your brother can post it, in the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 8. Bible shop, the brother can post it. We'll start off there, and I'll pull up. What I wanted to get into in the book of Jeremiah. All right, because we're watching the transition of empires. Okay, and as Esau, Edom, has these vain ambition, okay, to attempt to set up a new world order, the Most High is transitioning this nigga out of power, man. Okay, we're watching, the fall, of our enemies, we're seeing Esau, Edom being set up for complete failure, and this new world order, the Lord's going to allow him to get to a certain point, and this thing is going to begin to backfire on him on a whole nother level. Okay, and it's going to be to the point that he can't control it. You see, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 8. It's the beloved brother beyond Yashala 144. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So we're watching the kingdom be translated, from one people into another. All right, we're not going, we're not in a time, all right, where Esau Edom is getting ready to extend his empire. We're at the end of his empire, and then one people is the people of Esau, okay, to the people of Israel, okay. So we're in the midst of a kingdom that's being translated, okay. We're watching a kingdom getting ready to be translated, man. You see, from one people to another. So we're living in, beautiful times, and this is what, our forefathers, this is what they wanted to see. Brother can get there real quick. Luke 10, I believe verses 23 and 24, 22 and 23, Bible Shah. Okay. So let's get into this with Jeremiah. Now when you go into Jeremiah, 49, 50 and 51, it's a heavy emphasis on the destruction of Babylon, okay, in the times that we're in now, and that's why we're seeing, Jeremiah 49, through 51 jump off the page, which just speaks of the complete and utter destruction of America, and the events that will be happening, going into it, and the nations, that will be involved, okay, in the destruction of America. Jeremiah 51:11 says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields, and this is, all right, the nukes, man, and gather the shields, and these nations preparing for war, and as we can see, these nations have, formulated a defense, okay, to combat America's offense. See, America's military is built on offensive. You know, they're used to just coming in with overwhelming force, okay, and having their way. You see, what the Lord has, the scripts say, allowed the weak to say they're strong because the Lord has a purpose for Babylon, which we're going to get into it. It said the Lord have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, which are the Russians, for his device, all right, is against Babylon. And we're seeing the Lord working against Babylon. What we're seeing is how Bashim Shai is working against Babylon, America, man. How is the hammer of the earth broken? Well, because the Lord is going to break it. And he's using these nations, all right, to break it. And Yahweh Shai is going to be that final blow, and not only to Babylon, but even the nations used to break Babylon, man. Okay? It says to destroy it because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. So when we see these nations souped up, it's because the Lord has a purpose for these nations, man. You see, this is not no random thing of these nations, being strong in these latter days. No, the Lord has a purpose for these nations, man. You see, and we're watching their purpose being carried out, and it's going to continue to escalate, man. It says, set up a standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord have both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. Yeah, you American citizens, man. Okay, because this war is not only going to take place in their region, all right, that they call the Middle East, or the Persian Gulf, okay, which is really Western Asia, but the missiles are going to come here to the inhabitants of Babylon. You citizens of Babylon will be touched by this war, all right, not only economically but physically, okay, through ICBMs, which is nuclear, destruction, man. Okay, it says, "O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thy end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness." Yeah, man. And this is America that dwelleth upon many waters. Remember, the scriptures say, about the whore that dwelleth on many waters. And that whore is America, that whore that rideth the beast. Okay, because America is the top government in this beast system. Okay, the elites have propped America up to be the top government. All right. And the elites have enriched themselves through this American system. They created a system where America can just print wealth. You see, that's why his military budget just been off the charts. But guess what? What we're seeing as of late, that military budget don't matter. The military budget doesn't equate to the will of the Lord. Okay, I don't care how much, that's why you got Pete Hegseth. Well, you got some more videos of that clown, okay, in the Senate begging for more money. Okay, it don't matter if they grant you $2 trillion, man. You still all right subjugated to prophecy, man. Okay, prophecy still gonna play out. Okay, they can grant you $250 billion, man. You see, prophecy still gonna play out according to the will of the Lord. You see, he said, "Thy end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness." Yeah, because the elites want everything, man. They covet everything, man. They can never have enough. But the Lord is cutting this man off. The Lord is cutting the elites off from their ability, all right, to just heap up, okay, everything to themselves, man. Which they use the American military, all right, as their main tool to heap up resources to themselves, man. Okay, but now we're seeing prophecy is beginning to set in. Okay, it says the Lord of hosts has sworn by himself, saying, "Surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee." And this is the prophets, man. Okay, the Lord has filled Babylon with men as with caterpillars, man, and these men are lifting up a shout against thee, man, and that's the prophets, man. And just like they shouted down, Jericho. Well, Babylon is being shouted down from within. It's being shouted down from within, man, and it's getting ready to fall. Okay, this is what we're seeing as America is getting ready to fall, man. You see, So let's jump down to verse 20, 24. And it says, and I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, said the Lord Yahweh by Shema Shai. Yeah, there's a recompense, man. Okay, because America, has been the main antagonist against Israel. Okay, and the reason why even foreigners look at the tribes how they do is based on American propaganda. It's in America where we was considered three-fifths of a human. The evolution, we evolved from monkeys. Okay, thugs, hoes, that image. America's responsible for that, man. And then the atrocities of chattel slavery, America took it too far, man. America has a lot of blood. We was giving it to their hands, but these devils overdid it. Okay, and there's a recompense for that, man. And all these spirits that are back in America are guilty, man. Especially these Edomites that are back today. Why you think you see a lot of these Edomites, okay, are unalive Jake, man? That's some same spirits, from chattel slavery that was hanging Jake, all right, cutting, the women open, doing the gator bait, the the human zoos, and that's those Edomites that are back, man, just to get that judgment, man. You see, because there's a vengeance. The Lord has a vengeance for you Edomites, man. Okay, here in America, verse 25 said, "Behold, I'm against thee, O destroying mountain," said the Lord, which destroyed all the earth, and I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain, man. Okay, and this destroying mountain is the American government, man. An American government, okay, has been at the forefront, all right, of destroying nations and people throughout the world, with their economics, all right, their economy and their military, man, and also their poisoning, man, okay, their philosophy, man, which has poisoned the earth, so between American influence, okay, their cultural influence, their economics, and their, all right, military, man, this has been a destroying government, man. You see, but all their destruction is going to come back here and turn this place to a desert, man. Okay, and he's going to stretch out his hand, which is Yahweh Shai, and this place going to be left smoking, man. Okay, literal, man. It said, verse 26, and they shall take, it says, and they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundations, but thou shalt be desolate forever, said the Lord. Yeah, because all the elements going to be melted with fervent heat. You're not going to be able to find one stone that you can put on top of another in America, man. Okay, it's not going to be one piece of steel. It's not going to be nothing remaining of an infrastructure that you're going to be able to put one stone, one pebble on top of another for a foundation, man. Okay, complete desolation, man. Okay, it says, set up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations. Yeah, so you see, it's a spirit amongst these nations, man. And that's the Lord awakening these nations up, man. Putting these nations in the spirit to be fearless against Babylon, man, America, man. You see, the fear that these nations once had about the mighty, American military, that fear is gone, man. And the Lord has these nations in the spirit of war. Okay, a standard is being set. You see, and what's happening is, these nations are watching Iran get the best of America, man. They're becoming emboldened, man. Now it's like, oh, we got this nigga, man. You see, the atmosphere is set up for prophecy to be fulfilled, man. Okay, it says, prepare the nations against her. See, what these nations are prepared because the Lord got these nations prepared, man. You see, the Lord got, the Russia, Iran, China. Hey, these nations are full of engineers and technicians and scientists. Okay, that's on the level, man. Okay, like China and Iran, Russia, they got some scientists and some engineers that's on the level. Okay, the Lord set that up, man, because they have an agenda. You see, the Lord said He opened up the armory of he has opened up the armory of the weapons of his indignation, man. Okay, so these weaponry that these nations are souped up with, that's the weapons of the Lord's indignation, man, against Babylon. It says, call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, which is Turkey, Mini, okay, which is Armenia, and Ashkenaz, which is Germany, okay, because we know all these nations are going to flip on America, man. Okay, America is being written out the script as we speak. Okay, appoint a captain against her, which is Russia, cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. You see, prepare. All right, it says prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the Russians, the captain thereof. So Russia is the military captain. Okay, Russia is what's called the chief prince. Okay, of these nations. This is going to be allied against America, man, and you small hats, man. It says, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. Okay, so this is what we see formulating. Okay, real time. All right, when we speak to Isaiah, you know, it's like when you go into Jeremiah 51, you know, it's showing everything that we see happening now. Now let's go, you know, in the build up to, you know, those things that are prophesied in Jeremiah. All right, 51. Okay, so let's go here. The brother got this, and then we'll go to some video. There's Luke 10 and 23. That's the brother 144, almost home. Luke 10 and 23, it says, he turned him unto his disciple and said privately, blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye see. For I tell you, verse 24, Luke 10 and 24, for I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired, okay, to see those things which you see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear and have not heard them, man. Okay, and we see these things happen in real time, man. You know, the Lord has us alive in this time to see, you know, this great transition, because this is the last transition. No more will we have to be worried about this nigga Esau, man. You know, no more will there be wars in the earth. No more will we even die, man. Okay, so we in some beautiful times, man. We have everything to look forward to, man, and nothing to look back to. Okay, and that's a lesson within itself, man. You know, so let's go to some of these videos, man, just to see what's been happening, man, because it's just like it's getting worse by the day, man. You know, it's getting worse by the day. All right, for the U.S. of A. You know, that's a T-shirt. Worse by the day for the U.S. of A, man. Golly. So let's play this. Now, this is Iran bombards CIA bases with precision. Now, let's play a little bit of this, man. There's something interesting, you know, that was in here. But let's play this.
After Iran bombed CIA facilities in the Middle East, a stunning new drone attacks on American intelligence facilities. U.S. analysts are now examining whether Moscow supplied advanced targeting intelligence or enhanced drone technology that enabled Tehran to strike sensitive CIA sites with remarkable precision, potentially opening a dangerous new chapter in the growing confrontation between Russia, Iran, and the United States. The United States intelligence community has launched a high-level investigation into whether Russia secretly assisted Iran in carrying out precision drone strikes against CIA facilities across the Gulf. The probe follows a series of attacks that demonstrated an unusual level of accuracy, prompting analysts to examine whether Moscow supplied targeting intelligence, advanced navigation systems, or upgraded drone technology to Tehran. According to officials familiar with the investigation, Intelligence agencies have not yet reached a final conclusion about Russia's involvement. However, investigators are closely examining evidence that includes the effectiveness of the strikes, Russia's long-standing military cooperation with Iran, and reports of technical assistance provided to Tehran during the ongoing conflict. Among the facilities reportedly struck were the CIA station inside the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and another intelligence site in eastern Iraq. Intelligence sources also suggest that several additional CIA-linked facilities may have been targeted, although their locations remain classified due to national security concerns. Western intelligence officials believe.
Real quick, what we always get, let's get to Isaiah 21:2. All right. And you see Russia and Iran getting at America, man. You see, the Lord got them, linked tight, okay, and souped up, man. So Iran with his missile arsenal, and with all right, the intelligence, of Russia and China, all right, is a problem for America, man. They don't have no answer, okay, but to go get some more money, nigga. That's not the answer, okay. Let's play a little more.
Believe the Saudi strike may have involved upgraded versions of Iran's Shahed drones enhanced with Russian technology. According to the assessment, one drone reportedly breached a vulnerable section of the embassy's exterior, while a second drone entered through the opening before exploding deep inside the compound.
Now listen to what just said. So they saying that these Shahed drones, which is Iran's signature drones, have been modified by Russia, been upgraded. But listen to what he just said. He said one drone came and created a hole, and then the other drone came behind it and flew into that hole and blew up deep into the building. That's crazy accuracy, man. You see, and the scriptures say and it's just a prelude to how accurate these nukes gonna be. Because what does it say? Does the scripture say that they should be from a mighty expert man? What's that, Jeremiah 50:9? If a brother want to post that, how the missiles going to be from a mighty expert man. Okay, imagine how accurate that is, man. Imagine how hard it is if you just shooting a rifle, at a target in your backyard, and you shoot one bullet, and then you shoot the next bullet into that hole that the first bullet made. They're doing that from hundreds of miles away. They're doing that from hundreds of miles away, man. Hitting direct buildings. That means the trajectory got to be perfect to go over other buildings and land in that building. Then the next one got to be on the same trajectory to go into that hole, man. Crazy work, man. It ain't looking good, man. It ain't looking good for your people, man. All right. Let's go. Let's go here, because there's more. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's go here. Let's get that. The brother got that. Get these two precepts. Yep, this is Yashima tribe of Judah, Isaiah 21:2 says, a grievous vision declared unto me that treacherous dealeth treacherously. All right. It said the treacherous dealeth treacherously. That's America. And the spoiler. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media, all the Sion, okay, thereof I have made to cease. So yeah, now these nations ain't in the spirit of just complaining about the injustice and the treachery of America. Now they just getting at America, man. Okay, now they just getting at America. They on America ass, man. Okay, all that complaining and making these statements in the news. Nah, man, they just getting at America now. Okay, that's a spirit that's out there, man. Okay, we're gonna get at the whore. Okay. And it says, where we at? All right, let's go here. But yeah, when I heard that their precision, them drones, I said, God damn. You see? And you American troop, you through, you cook. Okay, if you are American troop, okay, in their region, you are cooked. You at this point, you're just waiting on your ticket to be called. If you're American troop in that region of the earth, you're just waiting on your ticket to be called, man. Okay. This is a Jeremiah 50:9. This is a brother service of Yahweh. It says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon." You see that same thing? I will raise up. The Lord is doing. The Lord is behind all this military might that's coming against Babylon. This is the Lord working against Babylon. That's why it's no answer. Okay, that's why these devils don't have an answer, man. Because it's the Lord is risen up against Babylon, man, through these nations, man. Okay, and all of them are throwaway tools. Russia, China, Iran, Turkey, etc. North Korea, they're all throwaway tools, man. We're just watching the throwaway tool at work. You see, and all praise and glory go to Yahweh Bashim Shai, man. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause up to come against Babylon, all right, an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her, okay, which is in battle formation. It says, from thence shall she be taken, their arrows, which are the nukes, shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain, man. And a mighty expert man. You see, someone that's an expert with the bow. And the Lord has made these nations expert with the bow, man. Okay, which is these nukes in this time, which is these missiles. Okay, but then the ultimate arrows are going to be the nuclear missiles, man, which is going to finish this place off, man. Okay, right now the Lord just touching America up, man. You see, just touching it up, just jabbing it up a little bit. You see, but let's play this one. Okay, now this one, all right, because what we're seeing too is America is starting to retreat. And you can look at the strategy of Iran, and it's the Lord just putting on a master class of warfare, man. Because you look at the strategy of Iran, let's play this and we'll discuss it. Let's play this first.
Is America on the run from its biggest military fortress in the heart of the Middle East? According to Iranian media, the United States evacuated Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, its largest military installation in the Middle East that houses Central Command headquarters, citing satellite imagery. According to reports, the number of American military aircraft stationed at the base dropped from 17 to just 3 within days. Then, even those remaining aircraft were withdrawn. The base was reportedly left completely empty. While Washington has not publicly mentioned that the Pentagon is repositioning its military assets as tensions with Tehran continue to escalate. Beginning in mid-July 2026, flight tracking data and satellite imagery reportedly confirmed dozens of KC-135 Stratotanker aircraft departing the base. Reports said more than 60 U.S. aerial refueling aircraft had reached Israel so far, with at least 33 confirmed at Ben Gurion Airport. Additional arrivals were expected between July 18 and July 19. If confirmed, this is the second time the U.S. has begun moving aircraft out of Al Udeid Air Base. According to Air and Spaces Forces magazine, U.S. evacuated some personnel from Al Udeid Base as President Donald Trump was weighing military action against Iran in response to its crackdown on protesters. The reported evacuation comes after Iran claimed responsibility for attacks targeting Al Udeid Air Base during the recent escalation with the United States.
Al Udeid Air Base has long served as one of America's most critical military hubs in the Middle East, supporting U.S. air operations across the region for decades. It is the nerve center for U.S. Central Command's military operations. It is the largest U.S. base in the Middle East. It hosts around 8,000 to 10,000 American troops and massive air infrastructure. It has 2 huge runways capable of handling B-52 bombers, fighter jets, and cargo aircraft. It is equipped with advanced radar, missile defense, and surveillance systems. It also has huge fuel, logistics, and command facilities. Because of its scale, damaging the base would directly impact U.S. military capability in the Gulf. It is the command center of U.S. air wars. The base hosts the Combined Air Operations Center, or CAOC, which coordinates air missions across the entire Middle East. From this facility, the U.S. manages operations in places like Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, and the Persian Gulf region. Many U.S. airstrikes and surveillance missions in the region are planned and controlled from this base. It is CENTCOM's forward headquarters. Al Udeid acts as the forward command hub for U.S. Central Command, which oversees American military operations across the Middle East and Central Asia. That means the base is essentially the nerve center of U.S. military power in the region. It sits close to Iran. Geographically, Qatar is just across the Persian Gulf from Iran. This proximity means U.S. aircraft can launch missions toward Iran or nearby regions quickly. The base acts as a deterrent against Iran. Al Udeid Base.
Yeah, man. So you see, all right, America is beginning to retreat, man. And that's a critical, air base, for America to do air operation. And see, they're having to push these aircraft further and further back. You even have reports that some of these aircraft are going to Europe and Cyprus, which is an island, within the Mediterranean Sea, man. Okay, and remember, these fighter jets only can fly so far before they have to refuel. Okay, so the farther they take off from, the more time they have to refuel, and the fighter jet is the most vulnerable when it's refueling. Okay, so America and Iran is just breaking America down from its ability to, all right, wage war in their region, and then they're putting a lot of this military hardware in the state of Israel. Okay, and then little small little area, so they're beginning to stack all this hardware in the state of Israel, and Iran can hit anywhere in Israel. Okay, and so they're just making it an easy target. So they just hoarding up because they're retreating from these bases. And they moving hardware to the state of Israel, Cyprus, and Europe, and it's just making it an easy target because now they're just piling up all this hardware in one place, man. Okay, so what we're seeing is a masterclass, all right, by Iran, where they're strategizing. So you're seeing what it looks like to have a plan and not to have a plan. Okay, in war, all right, and the AI trash. Okay, Palantir and all that, because they was using it in Gaza. They use it to do assassinations in Lebanon and even assassinate certain Iranian leaders. Okay, but now, even with that, because I got another video as well, real quick, because see, they've been picking off, all right, these Mossad agents, and this is day 13, and where the hell is the small hats, man? And we're gonna keep up with the days too, man, because it's day 13 and the small hats ain't did nothing. So the question is, how long is it gonna take the small hats to get involved, man? Where are the small hats, man? It's day 13, and we're gonna keep track and see how long it's gonna take. All right, Lord willing, for these small hats to get involved. So I got another video because even like I say, with because Mossad, and the CIA, they had, agents, within the Iranian ranks. But what we've seen of late, with the help, China and Russia intelligence, they've been getting snuffed out, and they've been getting their ass unalive in our area, So let's play this as well. Ain't no good news for you Americans, man. Okay, ain't no good news for you the American military. Okay, it's only gonna get worse and worse. So let's play this one.
In Iran, an accusation of espionage is no longer just a criminal charge. It can become a death sentence. As the country's leadership grows increasingly consumed by fears of foreign infiltration, the state's response has become swift, uncompromising, and deadly. Every new allegation sends a chilling message across the nation. In the eyes of the Iranian government, suspected spies deserve the harshest punishment possible. And now, another name has been added to that growing list. Iran has once again carried out an execution as part of what appears to be its widening crackdown on alleged foreign intelligence networks. The latest to be put to death was Mehdi Konaki, according to Iran's judiciary news agency Mizan. He was accused of carrying out what authorities described as operational actions that benefited Israel, the United States, and other hostile groups. Officials also alleged that he manufactured and possessed weapons. The execution is the latest chapter in a campaign that has accelerated dramatically in recent months. What was once presented as isolated prosecutions has evolved into a far broader internal purge, one that reflects the Iranian state's growing determination to root out anyone it believes may be collaborating with foreign powers. The turning point came after the devastating 2025 war and the assassination of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Those events fundamentally reshaped Iran's security doctrine. Faced with what it viewed as an unprecedented threat from abroad, Tehran moved quickly to strengthen its grip at home. Espionage laws were significantly tightened, and collaboration with foreign intelligence agencies, including Israel's Mossad and the US CIA, was made punishable by mandatory execution upon conviction. Since then, the pace of executions has accelerated. In May, Iran executed Gholam Reza Khani Shakarab, who had been convicted of allegedly spying for Israel's Mossad. According to Iranian authorities, he was responsible for recruiting individuals inside the country to carry out operations deemed harmful to national security. Officials described him as one of Mossad's key operational figures working outside Iran. The judiciary also claimed that Iranian intelligence orchestrated an elaborate deception operation to lure him back into the country. Once he returned, he was arrested by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps before eventually being sentenced to death. Iranian officials further alleged that Mossad had tasked him with helping prepare an assassination plot targeting a Jewish rabbi in a neighboring country, a plan they claimed was intended to falsely implicate Iran in an anti-Jewish attack. That same month, two more men, Yaqub Karimpour and Nasser Bakrzadeh, were also executed after being convicted of cooperating with Israel's Mossad. According to Iranian state media, one of the two had allegedly gathered sensitive intelligence near the Natanz nuclear facility in Isfahan province before both men were hanged. But the executions do not end there. State media has repeatedly announced the deaths of individuals accused of spying, sabotaging strategic infrastructure, or assisting covert foreign operations. The list continues to grow, and with each execution, the government's message grows louder. Among the most controversial cases was Javad Naimi, a nuclear engineer reportedly linked to Iran's highly sensitive Natanz nuclear facility. Rights organization Hengao says he was secretly executed following an opaque judicial process that allegedly involved torture, prolonged solitary confinement, and forced confessions. Another nuclear scientist, Rosebeh Wadi, was also executed in August after facing similar espionage allegations. Together, these cases paint a picture of a country where accusations of espionage increasingly end not in lengthy prison terms, but at the gallows. For Tehran,
Get them out of there. You know, all them agents and Mossad, affiliate CIA, getting out of there, man. You know, so hey, this the Lord is turning this thing up, man. The Lord, you know, is putting it in the favor, you know, of this alliance, okay, that He's put together, you know, against America and you small hats, man. Okay, now let's go from there. Let's go to this guy here, this clown. Now, we watched a little bit of that yesterday with Pete Hegseth, you know, and the senator cussing his ass out about being trash. Okay. You know, not having no strategy. Nigga just over there winging it. You know, because their whole strategy was regime change. And see, they was banking on, you know, them killing the supreme leader and these different, you know, plants and agents and, you know, people that they had embedded, you know, within the Iranian ranks, you know, to start a new regime. You know, they had certain people, even in the military, certain military personnel high in the ranks. There was Mossad. They got flipped, you know, but they been unalive, you know, as of late. So the whole play was to have, you know, these people that was already embedded within Israel, you know, it's like within Iran's, you know, scientific sector, military sector, and government sector, you know, to be able to, in the midst of the chaos, all right, to formulate a new regime, you know, and that's why the small hats kept telling America, like, look, it's gonna be quick. You know, we already got people in place. They've been staging themselves. You know, hey, we just take out the leadership. You know, we cause civil unrest in the streets, and we already got people in place. You know, it's gonna be quick. You know, just kill a regime, do a lot of bombing, heavy bombing afterwards, and it'll be a new regime. And you know, and that was the plan. But see, it didn't work like that. Matter of fact, it backfired, man. Because the regime that's in now, okay, is much more hardline than the former regime, okay, that was killed off, you know. So it worked against these devils, man. And now they out here with no plan. Really, they're winging it. You can tell they're winging it, man. You know, they don't have no real military strategy, man. Okay, there's a lot of desperation from these devils when you really look at how it's going down, you know, and at least they have their play, you know, with the global reset, which hey, they got to do it regardless of how the war going. They got to go with they move. Okay, at the end of the day, we're seeing the will of the Lord. Okay, play out. All right, now this is another senator that was dealing with Pete Hegseth. Now just listen how this nigga sound, man. You know, let's play a little bit of this.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all for your testimony. And
because I was listening to bits and pieces of the whole hearing. Now this nigga was in Pete Hegseth was in the this hearing was like 3 hours and 16 minutes. You know, so pretty much Pete Hegseth was begging, okay, for more money for over 3 hours, man. You know, and they were getting on his ass, man. You know, he done went over there and he getting embarrassed, man. Okay, with nothing to show for it. So let's play this.
General Kane, let me just begin by expressing on behalf of all Georgians our immense gratitude and admiration for those who are making tremendous sacrifices and conducting themselves with extraordinary selflessness and professionalism on behalf of the United States and our state's unified condolences and grief for the families of the 4 killed in action and our hope for a swift recovery for the nearly 100 wounded over the last 2 weeks. And thank you to you for your service to the nation. Mr. Hegseth, you're requesting roughly $68 billion for the department through this supplemental, correct?
67, yes.
And yesterday, your department stated publicly, quote, U.S. forces struck Iranian military command centers, maritime capabilities, missile and drone launch sites, and air defense systems to degrade Iran's ability to continue attacking commercial vessels. That was a press release from your department. Is that a broadly accurate characterization of ongoing operations?
That sounds broadly accurate, yes.
On day 14 of this conflict, Mr. Secretary, day 14, nearly 5 months ago, you stated that Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and, quote, made combat ineffective. That was on day 14 of the war. Was that an accurate statement?
They didn't have a Navy any longer. It was completely sunk. Their missiles were buried underneath a lot of their underground facilities, and their defense industrial base has been almost completely destroyed. So as far as a military assessment of Iran's capabilities, it didn't mean by any stretch of the imagination absolute zero, but their capabilities
Mr. Secretary,
at the lowest level
you
they've been in a
stated
very
that
long time.
on day 14 of this conflict, in the second week of the conflict, you stated that Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and, quote, made combat ineffective. Was that an accurate statement? Yes or no?
Iran's ability to challenge the United States of America at the level at which we're capable of.
That's not what
was
I asked you, Mr. Secretary. You said on day 14, Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and, quote, made combat ineffective. Yes or no? Was that an accurate statement?
What the American military has
Will you
done
answer
to
the
the
question?
Iranian military is a historic military
Will you
defeat,
answer the
and they're
question under
ineffective
oath?
in that context.
3 weeks later, you declared victory. That was now nearly 4 months ago. 3 weeks after you'd already said Iran's military was destroyed and combat ineffective, you said, quote, Operation Epic Fury was a historic and overwhelming victory. You said Iran's military had been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years to come. And you stated we had, quote, achieved every single objective. Were those accurate statements?
It certainly was, on behalf of the men and women in uniform, a historic military victory over Iran.
Had
There are
Iran's
other-
military been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years to come? That was
They
a
had
statement that you made 4 months ago.
They had 160 naval vessels
You need
in
to
the
answer
Blue
the
Water
questions,
Navy,
Mr.
and they're gone.
Secretary.
Their
You
Air
said-
Force
you
is
said 4 months
completely
ago.
combat ineffective,
You
and they
said
don't
4
have a
months
defense
ago.
industrial base.
Excuse
So
me, Mr.
describe to me a
Secretary.
country that doesn't have an Air Force, a Navy, or a defense industrial base, and
Mr.
I will describe to
Secretary.
you a country that does not have an effective
Mr.
military.
Secretary, you
It
stated-
can lob missiles. got
Mr.
it.
Secretary, you stated
missiles,
4
but it's
months
not a
ago
combat
that
effective
Iran's
military.
military had been rendered, quote, combat ineffective for years to come. Has Iran's military been, for the last 4 months, combat ineffective?
It's been set back not just years, but likely decades.
You
considering
stated
it
we had,
can't build
quote,
at the level
you
it did
stated-
before, and not
you
even
stated
close.
we
It doesn't
had,
mean
quote,
it doesn't have capabilities.
Mr. Secretary, you stated we had, quote, achieved every single objective. Was that an accurate statement 4 months ago?
The main objective of this was to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Their main sites were obliterated. We're watching over them, and we're holding that issue. If they don't give them up at the table, there's other ways we can take them
Early
away.
in the conflict
Iran will
on
never
day
have a
3,
nuclear
Mr.
weapon.
Secretary, early in the conflict, day 3, you said one of those core objectives was to, quote, destroy the missile threat. And as you restated on day 5, to, quote, obliterate Iran's missiles and drones. Those were clearly and repeatedly stated core objectives of the campaign, which 4 months ago you declared had been completed victoriously with every single objective achieved. Were those objectives achieved 4 months ago?
No one ever stated that every single missile was gone. Ultimately, combat ineffective have
4
underground
months
facilities
ago.
where they put missiles in them and hold on to them because they're the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. So we never expected they would stop having capabilities to shoot. The question is at scale in the United States of America, which went toe-to-toe with them, and Iran couldn't.
You
and cannot
stated on
handle it.
March 8th, day 9 of the war, on 60 Minutes, you assured the American people of Iranian surrender. Does that remain your prediction?
Ultimately, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon to threaten the United States of America. That has been the objective, and it remains so.
So just to review, you will not answer whether your statement made on the 14th day of the war that Iran's military had been, quote, destroyed and made combat ineffective was a truthful statement to the American people as you sit here and ask for tens of billions more
The
for the conflict.
senator's time has
Had a
expired.
historic and effective military campaign against the largest state sponsor of terrorism.
Won't
and will
answer the
ensure they
question.
never
Senator
get a nuclear weapon.
Peters
Senator.
is recognized.
Thank you, Madam.
Clown. Okay? Straight clown, man. And see, the scriptures speak about these clowns, man. Let's go here. Okay. So yeah, man. So pressure, they put pressure on that nigga. All them lies they was telling him and Trump, been telling since the beginning of this war. And now they're asking him about it and he can't answer. They just gotta deflect. And these are your leaders. Okay. This is your lineup that you Americans are going into, all right, World War III with. This is your starting five. Okay. Trump, Pete Hegseth, Mark Rubio, all right, was it Stephen Miller, okay, and they just knocked one of them, all right, one of the starting five off, your boy Lindsey Graham, okay, they got him out of there, okay, so you left with these four idiots, man. You see, and Trump being the biggest clown of them all, a third generation coward, okay, so you got a third generation coward as commander in chief, okay, a cokehead as Secretary of Defense, okay. Then you got Rubio, Secretary of State, and Stephen Miller. He just can't wait to turn ice loose on niggas, man. Okay, and that's at the forefront of your leadership going into this war, man. It's going to be disastrous, man. Okay, so when you go into Isaiah 19:11, verse Isaiah chapter 19, verse 11. This in the NLT. It said, "What fools are the officials of Zoan? Their best counsel to the king of Egypt is stupid and wrong." So the people that's supposed to be advising the president, okay, are the worst caliber of people that you can have, man. See, America is so much based on greed and corruption and everybody making profit and manipulating the markets. And they like, well, the military is just so strong, nigga. We just gonna steal. We just gonna be corrupt. We just gonna, you see? And you have the poorest quality of people that's in the positions of leadership, man. And the Lord done put a dumb spirit on these people too, man. All this is the Lord's doing, man, because it's written. Okay, he said their best counsel to the king of Egypt is stupid and wrong. Why they still boast? Said, will they still boast to Pharaoh of their wisdom? Will they dare brag about all their wise ancestors? Where are your wise counselors, Pharaoh? Let them tell you what the Most High plans, what the Lord of Heaven's army is going to do to Egypt. Okay, so going to beg for money. Well, we're going to tell you why you're begging for money. This place can be turned to a desert. Okay, according to the will of the Lord's going to turn this place to a desert, man. Okay, so begging for money ain't the solution. Okay, it said the officials of Zoan are fools, and the officials of Memphis are deluded. The leaders of the people have led Egypt, okay, astray. Okay, and they're running you American citizens right into nuclear destruction, man. Okay, and see, the American people ain't watching things like that. The hearing with Pete Hegseth and him being called out on the lies, man. Because it should be riots in the streets, man. Because he's asking for this money, and guess who's paying for the war? The American citizens coming out your taxes. You're paying for this war, man. Okay, you pay for every missile, for every military base. Okay, for every uniform, you're paying for it, and you're not getting nothing in return, man. Okay, and they're leading you right into nuclear destruction, man. You see, while you people are concerned about what team LeBron's going to play for next year. Okay, that's a nigga highest thought. Okay, you Edomites all into the World Cup and all. This is what your leaders are leading you to nuclear destruction, man. Okay, real time. Verse 14 said the Lord has sent a spirit of foolishness on them, so all their suggestions are wrong. They cause Egypt to stagger like a drunk in his own vomit, man. Okay, and they have no strategy. They're winging it. Okay, nothing but desperation and gimmicks, and they just done hit a wall, man. Okay, America done hit a wall, man. His military might is peaked out. Okay, and now they just winging it, man. You see, and the Lord got these other nations souped up on the offensive now. Okay, and America's on the back foot, and they retreating over there, man. And I looked it up real quick just to go into let's go here. Um, let's go on to this. I said, so I asked, was Zoan, okay? Would the city of Zoan in Isaiah chapter 19, could it be compared to modern day Washington, D.C.? It says, yes, comparing Zoan in Isaiah 19 to Washington, D.C. today is a fitting, functional parallel. And I remember Elder Yashawamba had looked this up on one of his lessons, you know. And it says the role of Zoan in Washington, D.C. It says political center Zoan, also known as Tunis, served as a primary royal residence and capital city for pharaohs during parts of Egypt's history. Isaiah's target Zoan to represent the seat of Egyptian government and power. It says hub of leadership. Isaiah 19:11 states the officials of Zoan are nothing but fools. The wise counsel of Pharaoh give him senseless advice. Just as Zoan was where the supreme rules, strategies, and decision makers of ancient Egypt congregated to guide the nation, Washington, D.C. functions today as a central hub for U.S. political leaders, cabinet members, and advisors. The prophetic point, failed human wisdom, in Isaiah's message, the Most High demonstrates that powerful political strategies hatched by the elite leaders in Zoan become confused and foolish when weighed against divine judgment. Okay? And this is speaking for the elites too, that's behind the scene pulling screens. It's talking about their ass too. They're not exempt from this. Okay? They ass is going into confusion too. Okay? And it says, failed human wisdom. In Isaiah's message, the Most High demonstrates that powerful political strategies hatched by the elite leaders in Zoan become confused and foolish when weighed against divine judgment, man. And what we're seeing in divine judgment, okay, is overwhelming, all right, these foolish strategies, all right, of these devils, man. It says applying this to Washington, D.C. treats it as a modern symbol of national policy making, pride, and earthly power that is equally subject to human miscalculation and higher accountability, man. Come on. Okay. It says applying this to Washington, D.C. treats it as a modern symbol of national policy making, pride, and earthly power that is equally subject to human miscalculation and higher accountability. And that higher accountability is the Most High, man. Okay, and the Lord is showing these devils, all right, that they not. In his mind, Esau believes that he is, but the Lord is showing, nigga, you're not. Okay, you're limited. All right, you're bound to human miscalculation. The Most High not bound to that. You see? Yep, the brother got this. This is Yashima tribe of Judah, Isaiah 44 and 25. It says, that frustrated the tokens of liars and maketh the diviners mad, that turneth wise men backward and maketh their knowledge foolish, man. And this is what we're seeing real time. Okay, Esau is running to all type of scrapes, all type of fires and miscalculations, man. And this nigga is he hey, Esau Edom, his decision making, is just bringing him to his end. Okay, it's bringing him to his end, man. Okay, and this is why this man, he's finna go crazy on the citizens of Babylon to try to force the issue with this MOTB, to try to force, this global reset. Okay, because his main priority is to get, America, all right, these American citizens, okay, into desperation. Jeremiah 49 and 7 said, concerning Edom, thus said the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah of hosts, is wisdom no more in teeming, is counsel perished from the prudent, is their wisdom vanished? Is their wisdom vanished, man? Okay, and this is what we're seeing. You see, because teeming represents the wise men of Esau. A lot of these think tanks that come up with a lot of these foreign policies and strategies and economy and different things, and also Esau's you know, scientific advancements, you know, through military, through, you know, biology. A lot of it come from these Temanites, man. You know, but now all the wisdom that these devils, you know, were allowed to tap into, you know, to keep them afloat is beginning to fail them, man. Okay? And this devil last, you know, thing is to try to establish this new world order, man. Okay, but this war, all right, is gonna overwhelm his ass, man. Okay. So let me see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I leave it there. What I do, I go into that that other video tomorrow. Rogers, we close it out with this brother guy here. Um, yeah, I got another video I can merge with this one for tomorrow. Rogers. So yeah, let's read this. This is the brother Yashima tribe, Judah. Let me see. And the fact started at 10. Yep. This is Yashima tribe of Judah, Isaiah 47 and 10. It says, "For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thus thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and knowledge it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said, I am, all right, and none else." And you see, the devil, you know, he's been able, you know, to scheme and plot, you know, and the elites have been generations ahead of everyone, you know. And he, in his mind, he thought that he was on the level of the Most High. These devils think that they're on the same tier with the Most High, you know, that they're able to, you know, operate. And that's what has them motivated to try this new world order, because they really think, you know, that they can pull off, all right, replacing the Most High and undermining the Most High with technology, man. You know, with the witchcraft and, you know, their ability, you know, to influence and enchant. Okay, you know, the science. You know, they're able to go into, you know, to, you know, they're able to do you know, gene editing, you know, so forth and so on. You know, so in their mind, look, we can be the Most High. We can create life. We can hack human. We can modify this and that. You know, but it has perverted them, man. So you go to Isaiah 47:11 said, "Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it rises, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, and thou shalt not know." Yeah, so the elites can't look around every corner. They got blind spots, man. And there's things happening that they can't account for, that they can't plan for. That's why I said, mischief shall fall upon thee, not thou shalt not be able to put it off. He can't put it off, man. You see? Prophecy is beginning to overwhelm Esau, man. Okay, he can't put it off. You see? And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know, man. So Esau, there's certain things that he's blind to, man. You know, and the Most High gonna keep picking this nigga off, man. Okay, forcing the Most High is forcing Esau to do what he want him to do. You see, Esau ain't got all these options and want to do this, and but you know, no, he's being forced. The most prophecy is cutting the ring off on this nigga, man. You know, and he ain't got many moves left. Okay, so yeah, we'll leave it there. You know, we'll tap into the infrastructure. I'll rise in the morning, but you know, Lord will, you know, you brothers, all right, and you few sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Makakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings say to you, hopefully, Shalom.